Good evening, friends. Welcome back to the second episode of Graphy. First of all, a warm welcome to you once again. Would first request whether all of you can hear me. Am I audible and everything is my video is also clear. Please confirm. I can see a lot of my friend Rajesh Kumar Nair, Ashwin is there. Okay, so Kailash is there. Can you please confirm? It's okay. Can you hear me? Is it proper? Can you hear me? Is it proper? Fine then. So let us go ahead with my second episode on graphy. So what is graphy? Let me get introduced you to. Basically, the word related is learning. And whenever you speak this word, it becomes, oh, what a boring word. Well, now no more. Introducing Graphy versus first structured learning platform. Want to play chess like a GM? We have got you. Want to know the best way to communicate? We have got you. Your learning need, hobby, our platform, a match made in heaven. One subscription unlocks hundreds of graphies across categories like chess, personal, finances, communication, health, and fitness, and many more. And the best part is keep on adding new graphies every month. So obviously you would ask, what is a graphy? Well, the answer is graphy is nothing but an episodic, interactive audiovisual content available for you on the go. Come, experience learning in the most fun manner ever. See you on Graphy super soon. My referral code is Praful Zaveri. I have to remind you that all first time users will be eligible for a 1 month free trial. There is one more reason for you to start a free trial. Our legend, the 15th World Chess Champion Viswanathan Anand, will be live on 7 December 2020 at 7 p.m. That is tomorrow at 7 p.m. 7 December, 7 p.m. Wonderful date. And he will be teaching chess to all of us through none other than Aruna, his wife. So what are you waiting for? Go and check out the Graphy app and now start your 1 month free trial right now. I have to remind you, yes, it's free. So you can, like what we say, it's absolutely free. So once again, a warm welcome to all my viewers. Thank you for joining in this episode. I know our tournament, we have one tournament going on for under 13 players and many of our students are there. But still thank you for taking your time off. So basically this is our second lecture. We usually means like started a series and this one is on chess strategy. We had one yesterday and let me recap as to what we had done. So usually beginners and intermediate chess players are acquainted much better with tactics than with strategy. Natural, isn't it? And this is like very much natural in comparison with tactics. Strategy is much more complex and definitely less investigated section of chess theory. Therefore, it would be very desirable before starting to study it to know how to calculate variation, carry out simple combinations and play elementary endings. So what is chess strategy anyway? And what is the difference between strategy and tactics? Well, the following skills are essential for success in chess. You have to be able to exactly calculate variations, quickly find combinations, correctly estimate a position, and make a plan of the game. The calculating and combinational abilities belongs to tactics, whereas the skill of assessing the resulting position and making an appropriate plan are essence of strategy. So like this is required to become a good chess player. Your strategy should be very good, and that's why as it is said, it is much more complex. It is very much easy to learn the art of calculating combinations, but forming a plan and assessing a position is honestly much difficult. The founder of the scientific approach to chess was the first world champion William Steinitz, legend, a person who made one of the biggest contribution. One of the main theses of his theory says that chess players should make a plan of the game, taking as basis the objective estimation of a position, and the estimation in turn should be based on a number of attributes developed by experience of many thousands of games. Some of the attributes were selected by Steinitz more than a century ago. Phenomenal. So let us see what he has to say about this. So all this, what he suggested, basically we call it the element of chess strategy, have passed the test of time, and later on they were modified by other outstanding players of the what we say the 20th and 21st century. And today these attributes are called elements of chess strategy, and you have to like remember what are the elements. Basically there are 7 elements. So first one is the center. We started with that yesterday. Development and arrangement of pieces, very important. Like development, very good word. And arrangement, where you want a particular piece to go to, that is arrangement. Pawn structure, what type of pawn structure arises in different chess openings, how do they help in the endings. Strong and weak squares and points. Fifth one, open lines and diagonals. Sixth one, advantage of the bishop pair. And seventh, position of the king. So these are the elements of chess strategy, and we are going to discuss few of this today. And in the coming episode, around 15 lectures are scheduled for me in December on the Graphy YouTube channel, and basically we'll be discussing most related to the strategy. In fact, almost every most. Okay. So, yes, hello Aditya, how are you? I never forget my students and my friends. Hello Ramkrishna, welcome. How are you? And then we have Nipun, Isha, Kailash is there. Welcome to you, friends. So, today what we'll do, we just had a look at the center, the importance of the center, but we still will recollect, recap the same. Struggle for the center, that is what we do in the opening stage of the game. The first strategy concept aspiring player has to make himself familiar with is the sense and role of the center. The center is a board consisting of 4 squares. We know that E4, E5, D4, D5. And of course, we have the so-called expanded centers, which include 16 squares around these 4 squares. So why is such a great attention paid to this particular section of the board? Well, there are 3 reasons. First, pieces standing there control a maximum number of squares, and they have mobility and scope. So let us take, for example, we know that if you put a queen on a center of an open chessboard, it can command 27 squares. If you put a rook, well, it can command 14 squares. If you put a bishop, it can command 13 squares. But now let's take the same bishop to corner. Then you will find the range reduced. It can command only 7 squares. A pawn in the center can command 2 squares, whereas king 8. So that's why we see that pieces have got maximum mobility and scope in the center. In the corner, they are weak. So therefore, like to an aspiring chess player, when we teach them, the general strategy of chess openings, what do we tell them? That go and occupy the center. Like second reason is pieces can be transferred easier and faster to any flank where their help is required. So if the pieces are standing in a center and you want to push them to the flank, it becomes very easy. Third and final reason, if one side is in possession of the center, the opponent forces are in most cases disconnected or has limited fighting efficiency. In chess, the center plays almost the same role as a sole height in any sector of the front during the battle. So like we had talked of that, and basically I remember in one of the lecture I talked of movie Lakshya, where it's based on a Kargil war, and we see like the intruders were at the top and had an advantage to our army which was on the ground, and how we use strategy to capture that strategic piece. The side that holds the height has a strategic advantage and all preconditions for successfully completing a military operation. And that is why that strategy we saw there, how that peak was captured and why it was very important. So basically, there are two basic strategies in the struggle for the center. The first strategy is to capture and hold the center from the beginning of the game. So like normally what we try to do is we try to occupy the center square by pushing one of our pawn e4 or d4. And the second strategy is you concede the center and allowing the opponent to seize it up. So you don't challenge, you don't occupy the center, and then later on you challenge it. So most of the openings, like you don't occupy the center, for example, when d4 is played, or like e4 is played and you don't occupy, maybe you'll be playing like e6 French, and then you'd be later on challenging the center. So it's a matter of taste, like what opening do you prefer and how would you like to. Some players they like to occupy the center, others don't. Then they would like to allow opponent to build a center and then later on challenge it. Going ahead, so today we will see one of the games in which black does not occupy the center and he rather allows white to build up the center and then basically challenges it. So this is a game which was played between a player called Pandurevich and Kovacevic in 1996. So let us start this game. Before that, to remind all of you, hello Arya, welcome to the class. So just to remind you once again that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Anand will be live on Graphy app. Please download this app. It is available for 1 month free trial, absolutely no charges. And we all will be learning chess from him. He is going to teach chess through Aruna. So that will in fact be what we say wonderful experience for all of you. Remember this app is available on the Play Store as well the iStore. So it's not available on the web. You have to download. It's a mobile app. So you can anywhere on the go you can learn chess. So fine then. Let us start with the game. White played e4 and black replied knight f6. So first question to all of you, what is the name of this opening? Can I get your answer? What is the first question? What is the name of the opening? So black is not occupying any center, and he's in fact now challenging that pawn on e4, threatening it to capture with his knight. So yes, and I get correct answer from Kailash, I think it is, and it is Alekin's defense. In fact, the only opening named after a world champion, the fourth world chess champion, Alexander Alekin, one of the key players who concentrated on systematic study of chess opening. So this opening is named after him. Yes, we also have from Soham Correct answer, and Isa as well. Wonderful. So let us go ahead. Now what are the strategy for, what is the strategy for white? He can either defend the pawn a lot of ways, like for example he can bring a knight to defend it, knight to c3. He can push his pawn to d3, defend it. But like white is having first move advantage, so normally he would like to displace this knight of black from the key square. Okay, we know that we should not move same chessman again in the opening stage of the game, but well, here it is justified because we are gaining a tempo of pushing back the knight. Normally knight comes to d5 and white plays d4. So what happens with this move? Like he gets a free move. Black is allowing him to build the center. Lot of space advantage for white. But now starts the challenge for the center. So what will black do? Black will play d6. Immediate challenge. Yes, Chaitanya, all of you have given correct reply. It's Alekin's defense. And now you are threatening to exchange pawns, but here white plays c4, chases the knight, and knight goes to b6. So what has happened? Black has chosen the so-called Alekin's defense. The idea behind this opening is to draw out white's central pawn, allow him to build a big center, and then exchange them or attack them with pieces. However, black has to take into account that opponent receives an advantage in space. As you can see, lot of advantage, space advantage for white. So he has to play precisely in this opening. Black continued. He captures, it's turn of white. He captures d6. C captures d6. Naturally, you should go towards the center. So face of the pawn should be towards the center. And now we say that you see black has two pawns in the center, white has got one, but in compensation white has got space advantage. Knight f3, so it's taking control of this. e5 square, sorry. And now you see 1 minute, it's knight f3. And now since these two pawns are delaying, it will be difficult for this bishop to be developed by a normal square d6 or e7. So black goes in for fianchetto. He plays g6. And a simple plan, bishop will come via g7 and will exert pressure on the long diagonal. White continues development, knight to c3, bishop to g7, bishop to e3. See, this is what I'm telling about in almost every class, that don't do anything silly in first 10 to 15 moves. Concentrate on bringing out your force. It doesn't matter whether you know a name of the opening or you don't know. Bring them to the right square. Safety of the king. Take your king to safety by castling, and only just concentrate on bringing out forces to the correct square. Have simple calculations. Do not lose anything. Do not blunder. And I feel if you develop this ability, like you don't lose any material say till 15 moves, you can then increase it to 20 moves, and soon you will find that you are in a position to compete with any strong player. So that is what you should do in the opening stage of the game. Develop that ability of simple calculations, no blunder in first 20 moves. And you see, you make this as a marker, like you are playing a game, and after the game is over, you find out whether I have done this, whether I have made any mistake in first 20 moves. And soon you will find that your strength has increased. You are able to do calculations properly. And once you develop this habit, automatically you will find your strength has increased. You will be able to compete against any strong player. And of course, this should be, it should be done with study of more classical games, learning tactics, learning end games. All this you can combine in your daily training regimen. Well then, moving on to the game. So here, black castled, rook to c1. Very good idea. So brought in this file, and whenever this file gets opened, you will try to rook will get an advantage. Now black has to develop his queen side pieces, place bishop to g4, and what do we see? He has pinned the knight and he is now putting pressure on the d4 square. Okay, so right now there is nothing for white to worry, but like he has to be careful. White immediately challenges with h3. Black plays bishop into f3, queen into f3, knight to c6. And what do we see now? That there are two attacks. So as soon as opponent makes a move, you should make a habit to ask yourself a question as to what is my opponent doing. And you will see in this instance that black is attacking your d4 pawn twice. So the attackers are knight on c6 and bishop on g7. And who is the defender for you? Then we find that, oh, there is only one defender, that is bishop on e3. And if I do not take care, I will be losing this pawn on d4. So like, if you go on putting questions at each and every stage, you will be able to play good chess. My trainer, they used to tell us that when we had gone for trainers seminar, do self-talking. This is a very important part in game preparation. You have to talk with yourself during a game. So in this position, white decides I need to bring in second defender and place queen d1. Well, let us examine what is the option available to white in this position. Of course, he can play in this position d5. But then, black will get one of the central square for his knight and prepare the undermining by e7. For example, knight can come on e5, okay, and attacks the queen straight away. You will have to save your queen. Say queen to e4, rook to c8, and again you see pressure on the c4 pawn. There is only one move, that is to play b3 and rook e8, preparing for the thrust e7 to e6, and then opening up the line. So this would be very good for black, and that is the precise reason why white played queen d1. He just kept the position as it is, retained the center control. And now we see black playing a very good move, d5. The pawn joins in the struggle for the center. We call it undermining has begun. This pawn undermining leads to a series of exchanges which results in new possibilities for black's piece in the center. So this position is played, and I would want you to tell me what would you play if you are white in this position. Come on, let me have your choice as to what you would be playing in this position. Will you play c takes d5, or will you play something else? What do you have in mind? So let me see how would you, what would you do in this position? Okay, can I have a reply quickly, or should I go ahead with the game? Very beautiful position, dynamic position. Both players are fighting hard for center now. Black has completed his development. White is yet to do. Yes, and I have got correct reply from Arya and Chaitanya, C5. Very good. Fine. So I think yes, he has pushed back the knight. He has kept the center intact. But I feel in this position, instead of playing c5, it would have been prudent for him to play c captures d5, knight captures d5, queen to d2, planning to exchange this key bishop, the bishop on g7, rook to c8. Black takes command of the open central open c file, sorry, not central file. Bishop e2, remaining with an isolated pawn. We call this an isolated pawn with no pawns on the neighboring file. Okay, but keeping some advantage in the center. Now what has happened with c5, as you can see, he has locked the center. Fine, he is also pushing the knight on b6 again, but it allows more freedom for black. Simply by black played here knight c4, and it's threatening the pawn on b2 as well as threatening to capture bishop on e3, get an advantage. So white was forced to play bishop into c4, recapture c4, and now you can see white cannot hold the d4 pawn, is compelled to exchange it. So you see now there are three attacks on this pawn on d4. There is knight on c6, queen on d8, and bishop on g7, and then there are only two defenders. He cannot bring in a third defender. So what are the possibilities here? One is you can play d5. Well, but then like black will have good counterplay. He will play into b4, again putting an attack. Of course, it's sufficiently defended. You have queen attacking it, but knight is, we have defender in knight and queen, and so white will first castle, and now this will take a good post nd3, attacking the rook on c1. So rook c2 is the only option. Rook also has to defend the pawn on b2, and then black can play bishop into c3. Normally you don't give up this bishop. This the bishop on g7, the fianchetto bishop, is the key to your defense. But here, like, he gives this up because after say rook into c3, and then we have that knight was the defender. Queen into d5 wins the pawn, and like you can try b3, rook f, d8, rook takes c4, and e5. So I think this would be a good position for black. His pieces are well developed, and white will have difficulty. So here in this position, after d into c4, we see white playing queen a4. Hello Govindji, welcome. How are you? Happy to see you. So he plays queen to a4 and prefers to give up the pawn and would like to take this pawn of black in compensation. And black continued, knight takes d4, queen into c4. So well, material parity has been restored, but you see, like, it took time for white to waste the move. He has to play queen to a4 and then queen to c4. Now here we see black playing knight f5 and again threatening to capture this bishop. This is very good strategy. If he gets a bishop, then he has advantages. So what has happened? We see a flurry of exchanges taking place, and activity of black pieces has suddenly increased. White should have himself protected against black's particular positional threat, the creation of the weakness on e3 after knight into e3, or capturing the d file and the point on d4. But here, he castled. This is not correct. In fact, you could basically have tried in this position after knight f5, maybe to play queen e4, and after queen to e7, he can then castle here in this position, rook f, d8, rook c, d1. Challenge this confrontation. Don't allow opponent's rook to dominate the file. And like in this position, maybe black can play queen to e5, slight advantage, but like this position was fighting for white. But what do we see after knight f5 is black, when knight f5 was played, white simply castled. And now this allowed black to immediately capture on e3, knight captures e3, f captures e3. So what do we see? An isolated pawn, a weakness. Okay, and because it has got no neighboring pawns, it has to be defended by pieces. So weakness has been created. And now here you need to take command of the central file, and that's why here black plays queen c7. Very good idea. He wants to play queen to e5 and attack that pawn. And there is one more reason you don't want, white to take possession of the d file here with attack on the queen. And of course, you want your own rooks to come here and take command. Rook belongs to open files, and whenever we get an opportunity, we should take it here. Hello, Dev. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Kaustubh says like the stream. Kaustubh, thank you very much. And Smira is also there. A lot of my students and well-wishers, and thank you very much for joining this. And I have to once again remind you, friends, that this is my second episode on Graphy app. So Graphy is an interactive app wherein you will find a lot of hobby-related videos on chess, on like other hobbies, finances, and you will enjoy watching this. These are by the top personalities. And I have to remind you that first live episode of Anand is scheduled tomorrow, that is 7 December at 7 p.m. And Anand will be teaching chess to us through his wife Aruna. So do join me. I will of course be sending message to all of you. Please download this Graphy app. It's free for a month, absolutely no charges, and you can cancel it if you don't like before the completion of 1 month. But I'm sure you will like it. New ideas and very innovative, and of course I find it, like as going through various graphics which has been posted. There is one by Harsha Bogle, of course there is one by Anand, also by Tiska Chopra. So I really find it rejuvenating and enjoyable on the go. So let us go ahead with the game. So queen is going to the central e5 square where she can attack the fresh weakness on e3. And of course, as also, keeping a tab on this pawn on c5. So black, uh, white plays b4. First of all, defends this. And now as planned, queen e5. So immediate threat of capturing the pawn on e5. And since like white had already taken care of his c5 pawn, he goes in for queen e4. White intends to simplify the position by exchanging queen. That is what you should do. Whenever you are in difficulty, try to exchange a few of your pieces. Once the pieces are off the board, defending will become easier. So that is what you should do. Sometimes it's like you find you are in a cramped position. Try to release that pressure. But like here in this position, it does not bring him any succor. And of course, black continues with development, is not interested in exchanging queen. Can you suggest me that what should be played here if you are black? Smira like the team Abba. Okay. Hello, Abba. And so here is the question, friends. What would you play? White has played queen e4, wants to exchange of queen. Will you exchange queens, or will you go in for something which helps you in taking control? So Govindji says, uh, no Govindji, we don't want to make waste so many queen moves. Am I freezed? Please confirm. Can I get a quick confirmation from all of you whether my video stream is going properly? A request to all my friends to confirm. Smira says I am freezed. So am I audible? I can see going in properly here. Okay. Thank you, Arya. I think Smira, you need to refresh. Okay, okay, fine, thank you. So, Govindji says Queen G3 not advisable, and I find yes, Setu Madhav they have all joined in. Smira says Queen G3, Setu Madhav says Rook a D8. Yes, excellent friend, that is correct. Or we need to take control of the open file. So RAD8, very good move. And now what you have done, you would basically like to double the rooks on this file. It's an open file. And then you would like to, go to D3. Bring the rook to D3. Then you will have RFD8 and absolute domination of the D5. White try to relieve the pressure. Queen takes e5. Bishop takes e5. Knight e4. So what is going to do with knight e4? Well, white now played rook d3. And what is done with, let us just go back to this move with knight e4, that when rook comes on d3, the the job of white would be to defend his e3 pawn, and that is the precise reason why he took it away from attack. Otherwise, all this rook which was going to come here on d3 would be attacking, this square bishop would be attacking. So that is the precise reason why here in this position he played knight e4. Black continued with the plan, rook d3, rook f e1. He defended this, but maybe like he should have challenged this. He should have gone in for more counter attacking move. So for example, rook c d1, give up the e pawn but take command. Say for example, if he takes now the pawn, you can play rook to d7, and that would indeed be fighting. So here in this position, definitely black would not like to give control of his d5. So he would play rfd8, double it up, and then white can play knight f2, attack the rook on d3, rook to d2, and a4. Maybe this was a bit fighting defensive, but here in this position, like sometimes don't play too much of a passive chess. Always think of moves which would activate your pieces. Sometimes in such positions, you might have to give up material. That is okay. Do that. But activate your pieces, you retain a good chance of drawing your game. So we find RFE1 defending the pawn, and now black challenge the knight. And you see a good chain here attacking this knight on e4, pushing that back, knight to g5. And can you suggest the move now, please? What should black play in this position? Rajesh ji says, I'm audible. Thank you, Chaitanya. Okay, D8, yes, you had given correct. And Govind Sahu ji says, knight would be lost if he directly plays rook d7. Fine then. So my question here, we find knight g5, and what would be your continuation in this position? What would you play? And yes, I find a lot of replies. Let us wait. Let us get few more reply. And I'm finding interesting reply coming from all of you. So Chanchal Tomar says rook to f6. Don't allow knight to come to e6. I like that idea. Okay, bring it rook to f6. Smira 2 says rook to f6. Setu Madhav goes in for a combination. Well, mm, yeah, I like his combination. He says rook into e3. Okay, and rook into e3. Bishop d 4, pinning that rook and threatening to win it back. Well, very interesting. I like this idea. Excellent. Amazing. That is also there. And what do we see? Uh, Govind Shahuji saying RF D8, Abba saying Rook F6, Arya saying Rook F D7 or Rook F6. Okay. So I like this Setu Madhos's idea of temporary sacrifice and then recovering. Well, let us see what can White do in this position. And what if I play in this position? Say I can prefer to give up my rook. But no, my knight would be attacked. So I have to play in this case rook c d1. Yes, Setumata, what would you continue? We are having rook c e1. What would be the idea? I think this is of course a very interesting stage. Yes, I was hoping for that. Yes, f4 putting on more pressure. And then if I go for knight e6. Yes, Ankit, that is there. We saw all foresee all this. He gave a good combination, Setu Madhav. And of course, like white is holding on. He is already a rook up, so black of course is getting it back. But let us see what are the possibilities now. And bishop into e3, yes, that is natural continuation. Bishop into e3 and king to f1. What would you play now? Don't you think this is still a fighting possibility for white? Rook is attacked, and now maybe what you'll be playing? You'll be playing say rook to f6. What do you feel, Setu Madhav? That is rook f6, ng5, rook a6. Maybe yes, that is also a possibility. And what if you like don't allow him to come to a5? We can go to c7. What do you feel? Want to go to c7 and then come to d5 and again attack this? So like this is also threatened. What do you feel? Well, anyway, I think the black is better in this position. Can just running quickly through the engine, and yes, it says it's fine. Yes, it's slightly better for black. I agree with you. So well, then let us continue with the original game. Rook f5. Yes, I like this idea. Rook f5. But I feel like it would be what we say a bit difficult. Maybe in this position, what to do? Can we take command of the open file with rook d1, or do we play king e2 and take control of f3, no break? Maybe that is also one possibility. Well, I think let us play in this position rook d1. What do you say? So yes, that is I think still black is better. I agree with you. Whatever continuation you have given, but let us see what happened in the actual game. We just go with that. In the actual game, after knight g5, we are not discussing of this position, and like all of you gave super replies. And but in the actual game, Kovacevic played bishop g3 straight away, attacking the knight or the rook on e1. And here now, maybe we don't know Tennis's defense could happen with rook e2. What do you feel of rook e2? Can you think what happens now? Here in the actual game, he played red1. But I was just wondering what combination can come with rook e2. Can you foresee this? I think I think this also a very good position. Maybe it's more like what Setu Madhav has suggested in the app, sorry, in the chat. Yes, please. I await your reply. What would black play in this continuation? And creative says RA. I'm not clear, maybe. Uh, if RE2, then F4. Okay. What about rook into E3? Don't you think, Setu Madhav, I think you would not be missing such type of combination, isn't it? Can't we play rook into E3 in this position? What do you feel? Or no, is it not good? And then bishop F4. I feel maybe, yes, like you can play simple chess, rook f d8. This is also one option better, but not rook into e3, or you can play e5. These are all possibilities in this case. So here in this play, maybe that was some sort of tenacious, but then black would retain. So he played re d1, preferred to give up a pawn and have some activity for his pieces. Black immediately captured, rook into e3. Now came b5. So he's looking to push the pawn, take advantage, and then post his rook on 7th rank and attack. All these possibilities is looking for. Well then, so now we have reached a crucial stage in the game, and you have to suggest what would you play, how would you stop all this counter play by white. It is black to play. Nothing sort of a, like spectacular move, but which puts a break on everything. Black has his pieces in good position. So, can you tell what is the move to be played? And Abba says rook a8. Smira says rook f d8. Well, let us have more reply. What is possible? Bishop f4. No, no, Arya, don't move same piece again. Don't that your bishop is in good position. Let it be there. You have to stop the move c6. That is what it is. That is what the pawn thrust is going to do. Don't allow that counter play. So well here in this position, the correct is rook c8. What are you doing? You are putting a break to this c6. And well, like he should have played c6 in this position. So what happens after c6? Then there comes b takes c6, b takes c6, rook e2, like rook c3, bishop to e5, attacking the rook to c5, bishop to d6, rook c4, and rook into a2. This also, of course, was winning for black. But for rook c8, here white played immediately too hastily rook d7. And can can you find the correct winning move? What is the combination that should come? It is black to play and win. So all of you should be able to spot this combination very quickly. I think Chanchal, Setu Madhav find it better. I am expecting all of you are strong players. So I think this you should be able to find it very easy. It's a easy combination. Very easy. Arya, not immediately. Make it simple. Make it simple, Arya. Come on. White has White has blundered in this position. How will you take advantage of this blunder? Rook d7, too early. I gave a lot of clues in this position. Chaitanya, why you want to play Rook e1 is not just an exchange of pieces. You want to win a pawn. Rook into e1, bishop into e1. How can you win a pawn? No. And then we are getting first correct reply. First, I think who gave? Chanchal Tomar gave, yes, and then the speed goal. Both are correct. Excellent. But to spot this combination, it's the easiest of the combination. Back rank weakness. You see this. Once rook c8 was played, the back rank of white was properly guarded. But now what has happened? After rook d7, okay, well, you are attacking this, sorry, not this one, b7 pawn, agreed. But what has happened? The task of defending the rank is left to this rook on c1. There is no flight square. Remember this square h2 and f2 is in total command of black. And so like the easy move was rook into c5. And rook is, you cannot touch the rook. It is mate. And here we see white resigning instantly. So I would suggest that so it's a very good example of what we say a fight for the center and the initiative. And main thing is like do not make such type of mistakes. Uh, Develop tenacity, a bit of calculation, so that you don't have such type of mistakes in the game. Bishop f4, Setu Madhav says is winning. When do you want bishop f4? Let me just go back. Instead of when rook d7 was played, I think this is more easier. No, rook into c5. Setu Madhav. Instead of say like going to playing bishop f4, straight away winning a pawn. Okay, bishop instead of rook c5. Okay, acha, you want bishop f4 and you want to attack the knight. Uh, I think maybe yes, you are winning, but in this case now there is no back rank mate, so I can as well play c6. What do you feel? So I feel this is fighting for me. Rook c5, rook into c5. No, I would now not be playing rook into c5. I have stopped that. I have straight away played c6. And okay, so take, yes, if you are playing this, I think that would be disastrous, isn't it? Maybe I can go for c7. I know this is losing, but you see, why going for such risky complications on the board? Very difficult to calculate. Okay, now we'll have to play moves like e5 to stop rook coming to d8 and rc d1. I can always go on threatening this and maybe rook c3. So I think don't go for all this. Play a simple chess, rook into c5. This is fair enough to win the game. I appreciate whatever you have suggested. Your variations, I think you're going very deep into the game and really appreciate your efforts. Wonderful. Makes the what do you say? Makes my lesson more interesting. So fine then. So let us, yes, what is saying. So if rook c5, rook d1, and then what? Okay, rook c5, rook d1. Rook c5, rook d1. Well, you can always exchange the rooks. What you can do now? Oh, I can simply play rook into b5. You see, your rook cannot leave e1. There is still back rank weakness, so I can just go on taking as much as possible. Now I guarded my b7 pawn. My e7 pawn is guarded. Clearly winning. Agree with me? Okay. Fine then friends. So before we move ahead, just a reminder to all of you that Graphy has come out with lot of interactive videos on chess, and tomorrow we'll be see a live graphy episode of Viswanathan Anand teaching us chess through his wife Aruna Anand. And as you can see in the image below me, a very good lesson tomorrow at 7 p.m. teaching your spouse how to play chess. So like this would really make it very interesting. I want all of you to join in for this episode. It's absolutely free. So what you need to do is to just download the Graphy app on your mobile, either from Google Play Store or from iStore if you are having what we say an Apple phone. And tomorrow I will all be joining you to watch Anand giving a live lecture. Wonderful. That will be a wonderful experience. So just to remind you that my next lecture on Graphy app is scheduled day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Anand's lecture at 7 p.m. So again on 8th December 2020, I will be continuing with the strategy part. Smira asked how I will join this session. Well, Smira, as I said earlier, what you need to do is on your mobile from the Google Play Store, if you are having an Android phone, download this app called Graphy, and you just search for it, download it, Graphy, and then register yourself. It's a free registration. You will have 1 month free trial, and you can watch all the graphies that are there. And tomorrow at 7 p.m. we'll be having a graphy of Anand live. It'll be that I showed you that subject matter teaching chess through Aruna Anand. So wonderful couple, very inspiring, and it would be great to learn chess from them. And so do download this app for 1 month, and then you'll be able to see this app. Okay, so many pawns up safe variation. Yes, Setu Madhav, I agree with you. I think this is simple chess. And best thing is simplicity. Whenever you have reached a winning position, we do not want any complication. There is one simple rule: simplify when winning, complicate when losing. So when you are losing, you should try to complicate as much as possible. That's why I would not prefer that idea given by you. So that would again complicate the position. We don't want that thrust of c6 and c7 making unpleasant threat coming. And like what happens when there is time trouble, then we have a problem. We will not be able to calculate accurately, and it is possible in time trouble we might blunder. So my suggestion is to remember this simple rule: simplify when winning, complicate when losing. You should put in as much complications if you are losing a game. Basically, some sort of swindle. लींबू घुमाना हम लोग उससे कहते हैं, ट्राई करो उसको थोड़ा सा कुछ some sort of black magic, that is basically called swindle in chess, your last try. So if you simplify, no such risk, reach a comfortable ending, and once you like exchange at regular interval, your difference in material will be felt. It will become very easy. Well then friends, so before I take your leave, any questions do you have for me? This was my second episode, and we are having in all 15 for entire December for me, where I would be discussing the strategy on chess. Which one to download? Yes, Smira, I told you, just type Graphy, Graphy, go to the App Store, that is Google App Store, and download this app. And once you are able to download and you register yourself, you will get a 1 month free trial, in which period you will be able to see the graphics that are already loaded there, plus the new graphy which will be coming up. So tomorrow is the new graphy of Anand. We already have one there. There are many apps named as graphy. You will be seeing like a symbol like G. So you search it, you will be, or you see this symbol on the website of YouTube channel of Graphy. That G you have to search. If you are able to do that, you will be able to see the Graphy. Well then friends, time for me to say bye for now, and would be joining in the next episode day after tomorrow. Once again a reminder, please do download this Graphy app and join for a live session of Anand. My referral code is Praful Zaveri. You will be able to download the Graphy app for free. So taking your leave, see you in the next episode of Graphy. Bye for now.